My so-called life is sponsored by How's it going? I'm Godless Sewing and this is the Godless Sewing channel. So today I'm going to be talking about how I decided to shop local. But before I get to any of that, I'm going to answer a question that no one asked. Godless Sewing, where do you get the motivation for your backdrop?
Patty! Then on second thought, maybe not. I'm Sergeant Slaughter, and I got some real hairy action heading your way.
Like I said, I decided to shop local, and I was not disappointed. Los Angeles County is 300 square miles, so I stayed in my small little town, and I had no idea that we had so many mom and pop thrift stores. So instead of talking about it, as always, wear a helmet, strap in, and let's go sewing.
There's more for your Christmas at Sears.
More choices and more savings, too. Save $70 on this Kenmore microwave oven, just $279.99, with electronic touch controls and temperature probe. Save $40 on this sewing machine, with 6 built-in stitches and button holder. And save $40 on this PowerMate vacuum with beater bar brush. So wrap up a beautiful Christmas.
There's more for your life at Sears.
This is my 1960s, 1970s Sears Kenmore sewing machine. I got this at Rooster's Relics, and as you can see, this sat in a cabinet or underneath one for about 30 or 40 years. It has a ton of dust on it, so instead of taking it home and doing the normal stuff I would do to it, I brought it straight to the shop. I'm gonna pop the top open and try to get it to work. You know, lately sewing machines have either been hit or miss. The machine will seem like it works, I take it home, and it's completely trashed. I have to Amazon parts, I have to replace everything. I got lucky with this machine. This Sears Kenmore sewing machine sat on a shelf for probably 30 years, and all it really needed was love. That's all it really needed. I oiled it, I cleaned it off, I made sure that the wiring was correct, and here we go. With little to no maintenance, I got this machine going. And I can tell just by the way it was built that it's gonna be a workhorse. But like I always say, instead of talking about it, let's go check it out. Alright, so like I always say, if it works, I'm going to chuck a ton of stickers on it and add it to the fleet. But today has been the day of the missed stitch. So if this thing doesn't work, I won't be surprised, but I'm in a workshop. I'm literally sitting in a room where I'm going to end up fixing it anyways. So it's going to be lovely regardless. These old machines, one of the reasons that people get rid of them is because the timing's off. So, let's find out. Or, that whole disclaimer was for no reason. Let me cut the other part. So, after all the restoration, after just giving it a little bit of love, wiping the dust off, it throws a perfect stitch. I don't know if my lighting's gonna catch it. Let's get the back. Look at the back. That is absolute perfection. You know what? I'm actually gonna call this a complete victory. So as always, stay creative and keep sewing. So there I was, minding my own business, driving home, trying to shop local because gas prices are outrageous. And I made the mistake of pulling into a thrift store. Lately, every thrift store I've gone to has had a sewing machine in it. It's kind of laughable. I haven't bought them all, but one day I will be able to walk past a sewing machine that says Singer, but it was not today. This is a 1970s Singer Merit sewing machine. Just last week, I was talking about how you have to troubleshoot when you buy these machines because you never know what you're going to get. And these particular models, well, more the ones from the 80s behind the Merit, they come broken. If you see them in a Goodwill or in a thrift store anywhere, they're there for a reason. And so when I found this in a local mom and pop thrift store, I should have known. But as you can see, I have yet to learn that lesson. I threaded it, I cleaned it, and the timing was off. So, welcome to the fleet, straight to the dry docks.
All right, listen up, Nuggets. Stay together and keep your throttles firewalled until you hit that deck. Now go.
And so there I was again. I was driving home, minding my own business, and I found yet another privately owned thrift store. I had no idea so many thrift stores had popped up in my hometown. So you know what? Let's be real. There's no excuse. If there was ever a human being who can spot a sewing machine table across a room, it's me. This is a Scarbro rotary sewing machine. I really had never heard anything about it. The more research I do, it just comes out to be more of a mystery. I saw this across the room. I'm actually kind of over taking them apart completely. So on this one, I'm definitely going to call Lord Amazon because all it really needs is a power cord. And in every other case, I would normally just swap the motor out, but the motor is inside the body, which leads me to believe that this is a remake or a wannabe retro sewing machine, but it looks powerful. So in a couple of days, Lord Amazon will answer if this thing works or not. But like I always say, keep your eyes open. You never know what you're gonna find, especially when you're not looking for it. So last, but of course not least, is my 1939 Singer AF 116565 sewing machines. There's a reason why these distinctions matter, because not all Singer sewing machines were created equal. The ones that I have from the 1950s are amazing, and quite honestly, it's shocking that they still work after all these years. These ones from the 30s and 40s require more work, but they're on the list of holy grail sewing machines. So to say that I scored would be an understatement. I am beyond stoked to have this machine, and you know what? I'm gonna restore this and probably give it a table. And you know what? It's gonna be amazing. I shopped local and I completely scored this sewing machine. It needs a lot of love. That's why I'm sitting here talking about it, because I took it apart and it dawned on me that I'm gonna have to really sit down, map this out, and completely take it apart. But it's worth it. It has all of its original parts. It has the original motor. It has its bobbin case, which with these older machines is important. And also, one thing I see when I buy older Singer sewing machines is that people put new needles in these older machines to show that the needle will hold. The older machines use a smaller needle. So, just a little advice from the sewing machine picker guy. Do you know, it was such a beautiful day today, I had to share it. I hope you got something out of my video. I am beyond stoked about my old school 1938, 1939 Singer sewing machine. That thing's gonna need help, but like I always say, don't we all? So, as always, reinforce your seams, be yourself, and I will definitely see you next time.